Good morning, everybody. So, whilst I'm busy watering orchids, I thought it's a really good idea because this question is always coming up. When do you water your Phalaenopsis orchids? So, it's one of the reasons why I recommend clear plastic pots to beginners. You don't need the ventilation, forget about that. It is so that you can see your roots and your potting medium. So if it's been freshly repotted, you might not have roots up against the edge of the pot that you can see, okay? But you can see your potting medium. And you will see the color change in your potting medium. Now this side of this pot specifically stands on the inside of the shelf, away from the window, and the plant faces the window. So there's still a little bit of moisture in the back here, but it's nothing for me to be concerned about because all of the visible roots that I can see actually have gone the silvery gray color, and I hope the sun is playing along. Yes, it is. And that's what you want to see. You want to see all your roots go silvery gray. If you are concerned that there's still a little bit of moisture left in the pot, on these clear plastic pots, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick up on it very well, but you can see there's what looks like little wet spots on this side of the pot. And that is just condensation because there is still moisture in the pot. So technically, this guy doesn't need to be watered. But I'm going to water it anyway for the sake of showing you guys this little bit of extra moisture that's left in this pot is completely irrelevant. Now, what you don't want to see is you don't want to... sorry, I've got to find it first before I show you. You don't want to see green roots still in the pot. Yes, the one next to it has dried out, but there's still a lot of green roots inside this pot. An awful lot of green roots, which means there's still a lot of moisture for this orchid to live on. So this guy, let's just show you how much. I really hope the lighting is working. Really hope you can see that. I will post photographs as well. Anyway, so you want them to be silvery gray and not green with moisture. Now this guy has got way too much green root in here still, way too much moisture. I can see by the color of the potting medium, I can see he has sections that have started drying out, but the majority of it, there's still a lot of moisture. Now, if you don't have clear plastic pots, bamboo skewer, knitting needle, old chopstick, whatever it is, take it. Let's find a spot where there's not too much root. So I'm going to insert it all the way down. And there's no concern if you actually do hit a root or not, it doesn't matter. And when you take it out, you will see bits of the potting medium and you can feel the moisture. So that was the dry spot, so it came out clean. So let's take a wet section. Sorry, I have to check. I don't want to kill too many roots. So I do check the side of the pot where I'm sticking it in, and I take it out. And can you see the difference on that? Look at all of that. And it's all the way up to there. Okay, which means there's still a lot of moisture left for this orchid. It does not need to be watered. Now, there's a couple of ways, two ways of how to water your orchid. One is bottom watering. So here's a bowl with water. And the principle is you take your orchid, you put it in the bowl of water. Ooh, there's a bit too much water in. And what happens, just want to give these guys half a chance. And the roots on top, sorry, I'm forcing it and wiggling it a little bit so that I can show you the green roots. But you will immediately start seeing the root color go from that silvery dry gray to wet. And can you see how quickly that happens? So they don't need a lot of time. If I soak orchids, it's only about 2 minutes. Now, other very important thing, once you're done soaking, you need to drain it completely, okay, before it goes back into its decorative pot or its drip tray. However, let me just put this down, which is why we're doing the video out here. And I got a bit of a rag from my husband as to why is the water running. Anywho, so my preferred method of watering is top watering. So I have all my orchids out in a shady spot underneath the trees on the veranda, and literally with the hose pipe I top water. And the great thing about top watering is it helps to wash off bugs and bug eggs and dust and dirt. And guess what? Did you notice my umbrella does not have a raincoat? My orchid doesn't have a raincoat or an umbrella, and I'm watering all over the plant, all over the crown. It's really good for the orchids. You should be doing this at least once with every fourth watering to help rinse out, build up fertilizer salts. And guess what? Orchids in nature are generally slanted, which means the water just runs off because they're growing on the side of a tree. So the water just runs out of the crown. Don't be concerned about getting the crown and the leaves and the whole plant wet. What you need to be concerned about is when you do it. We always water as early as possible in the day. Now, I'm lucky, I've got a huge section of garden with big stairs, and that's where I carry out the entire collection to water them when they require watering. These guys were the driest to be able to show with dry roots and wet roots. So they might be getting water a little bit early, but it doesn't really matter for these guys. They are drying out fairly quickly anyway. Now, as I said, don't worry about this. Water as early as possible in the day. That is what matters. And then you need to leave your orchid somewhere where there's good airflow. So if you don't have open windows, if the orchid lives in your home and you can't leave a window or a door open, then preferably leave it outside in the shade of a tree so that it's got the whole day with all the air movement from the wind blowing to actually dry out properly. And that is how you avoid crown rot and stem rot. Not by not getting the plant wet, but by doing your watering and anything else you do, whether it's applying pesticides or treating a cut wound, whatever it is. We always do it as early as possible in the day, allowing the orchid the maximum amount of warm daylight hours with good airflow to dry out. Guys, have a great day. I hope that explains a little bit more about watering your Phalaenopsis orchid. Cheers, everybody.